Spawning in the bottom right corner of the map from Kaizi Gaming, it is Solar.
And this guy here on the bottom left, he went off on a hot start against Gumiho as he defeated him 3-0. Can he repeat that in this series? It is from Dragon Phoenix Gaming, here.
Now, a pretty interesting first map to start things off with, right? We had Blackburn in the last series, and now we have it here in game number 1.
Yeah, so basically Blackburn back to back. A little bit of a treat for us, I guess.
Oh yeah, definitely. Games on this map, they always get a little bit funky for one reason or another. Or maybe that's just me. But yeah, Kier looking very strong. He has been one of the top pairings in basically the world, I want to say. At least in my mind, right? Like, he's just such a great player to me. But I think also that is backed up by his winnings, by his standings.
Yeah, he's definitely up there. I mean, amongst like players like Maru or maybe even TY. In the Korean scene, but yeah, he has been one of the staples, one of the top talents in the Korean scene. And the thing with Kier is, you just don't know which Kier appears on a certain day. Sometimes he appears and he looks like the best player in the world, and then sometimes he appears and he gets like knocked out in like the group stage or something, I don't know, or early in the playoffs. So sometimes you just gotta like just be aware of what Kier has arrived.
Yeah, now that you put it like that, it kind of sounds like he is the Terran Zest in a way.
Yeah, for sure. I think very reminiscent of Zest, for sure. And speaking of Zest, they're from the same clan as well. So,
and they both have very interesting builds. Cure going for the third Nexus before the second one has even finished morphing into an orbital.
Oh yeah, he's going greedy here, really greedy.
Yeah, I wonder how that's going to pan out, because obviously the gold base is at the 4th base location, so there might be a way to take advantage of the command center. Without gold minerals, of course, maybe at the 3rd base location. Or, who knows, maybe we'll see the command center float on over to the middle base.
Yeah,
I mean, that's very unlikely, but let me dream,
I think from where he's plotting the dirt command center, I think he's going to take the one at the 9 o'clock base. Because that one is more closer, and also it's more safer compared to the triangular base.
Right.
But we'll see. We'll see.
Okay, Solar coming in from the back with the Overlord Scout. 2 Marines are already here, able to take care of whatever comes their way. We also see the Viking out. Viking is going to ignore the... the Viking is going to ignore the Overlord Scouting. I'm going to go straight across the map. I like that move a lot. Leave what you have in your main to the 2 Marines that are already there. We are going to see a Liberator follow-up as well. Overall, very, very standard play from Cure.
Yeah, nothing too crazy. Of course, he did open it with a more economic build. So, he's just going to rely on these Hellions. It's just kind of poke and prod. Maybe take out a Creep Tumor. Of course, with the balance changes, creep spread is going to be even more important than ever before. So both players want to make sure, well, on Solar side, he definitely want to make sure to start creeping towards Kier's side of the map, while Kier, on the other hand, want to make sure to snipe off those creep tumors and make sure that creep doesn't reach his side of the map. And We'll see how these guys do. But in the meantime, Kira gonna go actually gonna circumvent the middle and just gonna go ahead and go ring around the rosy.
Oh, wow, look at that. I don't think Solar was really expecting this. He is going to pull the drones in a timely manner, but they are all lined up. Oh, okay, Queens are just barely going to get there on time. Lings, of course, are going to be here to try to trap the Hellions. One of them does go down pretty much immediately. 3 drones have gone down as well. That Liberator is in a very aggressive spot, but the Queen will eventually take care of it. Now, I do like what both players are doing. I think that one benefit of the quick command center is the fact that it's a quick command center and you get the third base up and running so much quicker. You drop 3 meals at a time instead of 2, that kind of thing. Now these Hellions are going to try to come in here. Oh man, what a nuisance, right? Right as the Queens are trying to put down their creep timbers, the Hellions are going to come in and snipe them off once again. But as I was saying, one disadvantage of the quick command center build is that your upgrades are going to come a little bit later. So I believe that Solar's 1-1, the Zerg's 1-1 is actually going to finish a little bit earlier, giving the Zerg player a bit of an upgrade advantage over his Terran opponent. Obviously, that is not too common, but obviously that is not the only factor that is going to matter in the first engagement. Of course, creep spread is a very important factor. Looks like finally Solar is just going to not exactly give up on the creep spread, but he's going to commit an Overlord to it on the high ground, just saying, hey, you know what? These Hellions are not going to stop. I need another source of creep. And yeah, it looks like we are going to be setting up for a 2-pronged with the double drop to the north, and then the Hellions, of course, engaging to the south.
Alright, looks like we're going to go ahead and drop right underneath the gold base here. Now, do we have any banelings? Okay, we do have banelings, but central feeder hooks not quite yet done. And of course, creep isn't only good for the Queen transfuse, but also good for baneling speed, as banelings do benefit a little bit from the extra creep.
Yeah, speaking of creep, these Hellions are just doing their best. They've been contesting this high ground for basically the whole game. Props to Kier for keeping that creep spread back.
Yeah, that he's been doing a really great job, and you know, now that you mention it, I mean, the early third CC not only good for Muse, but also scan energy to be able to, you know, see those creep tumors and snipe them off. And Kier definitely doing a wonderful, superb job, and keeping the creep at bay.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now, I don't think what I'm about to say matters too much, but I feel like, you know, if you go for Widow Mines, you might be able to take advantage of the lack of creep spread a little bit more. It just makes it that much harder for Lings and Banes to escape. But, of course, we do see the double factory play going into tanks rather than Widow Mines. And, of course, I don't see any problem with that. Just a little bit of an interesting decision to note. Now, this double drop to the north did suffer a few losses. The Lings are going to come down to the south. These Lings are just going to overwhelm this position. I mean, look at how many Lings there are. Just not going to care at all about the 2 tanks that were in the back line.
Alright, here trying to take down this gold base, but it looks like Solar should be able to defend this. I mean, looks like he's going to wrap around with the banelings from behind.
Oh, some very tight target fire on a couple of those banelings, I do have to say, but obviously Solar is not going to give up that position anytime soon. There will be a double drop into the main base as well, but I don't think it's going to get too much done. Solar has been very on top of his defense this game with only Lings and Banes, so who knows, we might see a Spire follow-up, we might see an Ultralisk follow-up, which is more likely, but this is definitely one of those high-powered late game setup scenarios, right? Neither player is going to die anytime soon. Both players are looking to power up and go into the late game possibly.
Yeah, we do see the Hive just finishing right now, so yeah, for sure. It looks like Kier is, or sorry, not Kier, Solar looking to go into that late game, get those you know, high valued units, those tier 3 units, and those Ultralists. Oh, there we go. Ultralists then being thrown down. Will we see anything else? Will we see that Spire for Broodlords, or will we see maybe, I don't know, Hydralisk then or something? But here we go. Looks like Baneling's gonna roll right in.
Oh man, pretty decent split so far, using the tanks as a buffer. Just a few Marines are going to survive that encounter. I'm sorry, no Marines are going to survive that encounter. One tank left all alone. Only the reinforcements are going to have to clean this up. But yeah, I'm sure that Solar must be very happy with that engagement. Resetting the tank count, resetting the Marine count. And of course, he is going to be going into those Ultralisks, as you mentioned earlier, Snoopy. And Ultras are just going to be able to cleave through any sort of bio. And, you know, we do see the Marauders coming up for Cure as well. Of course, Marauders do bonus against armored units, and they will give the bio a little more of that staying power against these big beefy Ultralisks. But you know, overall their DPS is not as good, and against Ultras, you ideally want something like Ghosts or Liberators, and we don't see them on the production tab for Cure just yet. I'm sure that he's planning it sometime in the near future, but for now, he's happy to stay on that. Siege tank-based bio-focused army.
Yeah, he's just gonna, for the time being, rely on the Marauders to help deal with the Ultralisk. I mean, I guess maybe with some good kiting, and maybe if he can kind of fight off or lure the Zerg player to fight off creep, maybe that could work into his favor. But yeah, I think he definitely wants to later on maybe add some ghosts or something to something else, maybe the Liberators as well, to deal with the Ultralisk.
I do have to say, Cure has been relentless with holding back that creep, and not only that, but this double drop in the main base has been here for a solid minute. Just non-stop harass of the queens, making sure that a bunch of lings have to be pulled back on home, that kind of thing. So overall, Cure is, you know, controlling his opponent quite well. Look at that, even denying the mining at the gold base on top of everything else that's happening. But interestingly enough, we will see a Spire follow-up. So, looks like Solar is already planning an air transition, but he's also looking to take this fight. 2 Blinding Clouds go down on a couple of those tanks. Will it be enough, though? A bunch of Lings and Bane stream on through. Banelings not finding the best of connections. Now all that's left is a single Ultralisk and a bunch of Lings, which will get cleaned up by the remainder of the bio. Overall, I'm sure that Cure is pretty decently happy with that trade.
Yeah, it looks like all the effort into the 9 creep on that specific high ground area has worked out in the favor, because it allowed Kier to fight basically in the area where Solar was basically off of creep. Imagine if he did not deny that creep, that creep would have at least reached third base or so of Kier. So in the end, it does, you know, kind of give him the advantage during that battle. Anyhow, it's still not over yet for Solar, though. He's still, you know, massing up that Ultralisk count, still adding those Banelings. But here, he's slowly but surely adding in those key units like the Ghost, getting even that of course that nuke in the Ghost Academy there.
Oh man, I don't think this was a good trade for Solar at all. Look at the supply, right? Even though Solar was banking up a little bit, given that this is a late game scenario. I mean, he spent his bank. He's only at 150 supply. Cure, very, very happy with that engagement. Solar just sort of pulling the trigger without realizing that there might be a little bit too much on the high ground. And now Solar believes it is time to fight back. These Lings are going to scream on forward once again. Oh man. I really don't know about this. Now, the Ultralisks are doing good work, both killing the bio and tanking a lot of these shots. That one Ultralisk on 33 hit points, just barely staying alive. But the difference now is that Liberators are out on the field. Vipers are pretty much out of energy. If they're not dead, I don't know where they are. But, I mean, all of this fighting off of creep is only going to help Cure more and more. Ghosts are out as well, and Cure is going to keep up the pressure, taking game number 1.
Alrighty, looks like Solar gonna go for a little bit of either as a safer build, or he's gonna use it to get some extra Lings out. Oh, by the way, Young Chang in the live chat saying, is this live? Yes, this is currently live. This is not from replay or anything. But yeah, looks like Solar might want to go ahead and make like 2 or so Lings and just kind of like maybe circumvent the Reaper padding, and then try to go for at least a slowdown on the the building of the second command center on the natural base, but we'll see if he does that. Oh, looks like he is making lings. Okay, there we go.
Oh, very interesting. We see a Roachborn going down immediately after the lings. So this is going to be a bit more than just a few lings from Solar. This is going to be some high pressure, some very cheesy sort of aggression. I like it a lot. Now, question is, I feel like I'm honestly not too familiar with this stage of the game. Snoopy, do you think that this is going to be Roaches, or do you think this is going to be straight to Ravagers? I feel like it's Roaches simply because Solar is only mining off of one gas geyser.
I think it's gonna be a little bit of mix, because he does have enough for gases, but yeah, he does. Or I mean, he has enough for like maybe a couple of Ravagers, but not like a full-on, Ravager hit squad. But we'll see if he does, use the gas into those Ravagers, or whether he's just gonna stick with the Roaches. But so far, this has been really effective. Not only has he slowed down this command center, but I don't believe Kira has scouted this Roach Warren. Let me just double check. Nope, he has not scouted this Roach Warren.
He brought the Reaper home. He didn't see the Roach Warren, and he put down a third command center with 3 lings still in his base. Cure, you are greedy, and I like it. I just don't think that it's gonna win you this game. I mean, Roaches are already coming across the map. One of them is being morphed into a Ravager. And I think that we're going to see pretty much, if this command center does not finish, it looks like it will just barely finish on time. It is going to have to be floated up onto the high ground pretty much immediately. Oh, look at that supply depot timing, just barely keeping that Roach from getting into the main base. But it is going to be focus fired down pretty much immediately. Oh, look at that cute little animation on the Ravager. Oh, GG is immediately called. Solar not waiting at all to take game number 2.
Alright, game number 3 on Berlingrad. And here, this guy rocking the happy star. Not so quite happy ending in the last game, but gonna try to turn that around, as he is our blue Terran from Dragon Phoenix Gaming. His career zone here.
And his red Zerg opponent, also hailing from Korea, playing for the team of KaiZ Gaming, it is Solar.
Not quite rocking the happy star, but he does have a dog in the mineral line.
Oh, that makes him goated immediately. Sorry.
Oh man, that's a cute ass dog.
Oh yeah, I'm so happy that the dogs cannot be clicked on in StarCraft. Can you imagine the havoc that would wreak if people were allowed to mess with them? That would make me so sad. Now, what do we have here? It looks like Solar went for a 16 spawning pool into Hatch. So, looks like we're going to see some early lings out, possibly for Solar. Not going to be anything quite as aggressive as last game, as there is no gas. Or, the gas is only just now being taken. 6 lings on the production tab, but I don't think that Solar is planning to go for anything quite as aggressive as the last game. I mean, last game was just probably as aggressive as you can get.
Yeah, I don't expect it to go for. I don't expect him to go for the same build as the last game with the Roaches follow-up. But I do like this because, in Kier's mind, if he sees these 6 lings at the exact same time as he did in the previous game, he's gonna be, more cautious and thinking, is this gonna be another Roach follow-up push? And he's gonna try to play a bit more defensively. Or unless he actually does commit to this Reaper Scout as these lings arrive at the natural. Looks like, yeah, the Reaper does flee back at home, and now he's gonna have to be wondering in his mind, is Roaches on the way as it was in the previous game?
Yeah, that is just such a big reason why the Reaper is almost always constantly on the other side of the map. You're able to not only hold off creep tumors, ideally, but that's not the most important part. The most important part is to be able to scout your Zerg opponent. However, you know, that is not going to be quite the case in this game. Cure is not going to be able to confirm it, but, you know, he will not have to face an early Roachborn in this game. In fact, Solar almost immediately going for the third command, excuse me, not command center, but the third hatchery as well. If that were a command center, I'd be very, very surprised. But yeah, look at that. I mean, he's even putting down a bunker on the low ground. So, like you said, it's definitely part of that mind game that Solar is trying to play right now.
Yeah, without confirming, you know, the Roach Warren or any incoming Roach push, I mean, he could have thrown down a third CC and he would have been fine, but instead, now he's going for bunkers, he's going for a Stargate instead of a command center. And now he's confirmed that there is no Roaches incoming, and now he's going to throw down the CC. But of course, you know, it still works out in the end because 1-1-1 does work out fairly well. It's very, let's say, flexible for the Terran, and which is why you do see a lot of Terran going for 1-1-1 builds. Going to be a Banshee with Cloak opening, and we'll see if the initial Banshees for Cure can pick up some drones.
Yeah, Cloak Banshees, they have that surprise factor in that, you know, if you don't scout for them, you could be pretty hard punished. Obviously, to deal with Cloak, you need some sort of detection, you need either Spore Crawlers, or you need Layer Tech, and we don't see either of those things coming up for our Zerg player just yet.
Yeah, the Zerg just basically just macroing like a beast, just droning up, spreading the creep, getting his tech buildings as well. Only now is he going up with the lair. So yeah, he's just macroing like as he should, as what you would expect from a Zerg player. But that Banshee is on its way, and looks like the Spore Crawler not going to be quite in time. So this is going to allow the Banshee to get some pot shots.
Ooh, there we go. Yeah, and of course Banshee's able to two-shot workers. Well, I don't know about SCVs, but it will start dealing some damage on these on these drones. Look at that. A bunch of them are forced to morph into Spore Crawlers. Oh, a little bit risky with the Banshee. Okay, it does get out with 5 health. Cure, betting on the fact that there probably isn't an Overseer, and therefore he will be out of range of these Spore Crawlers. Oh, an interesting little skirmish in the middle of the map. These Lings are going to catch out this bio. Not quite able to finish off the Reaper, so, you know, just sort of trading Marines for Lings. Ling on the low ground as well, going to be able to confirm that there is a command center, an orbital command, about to go down onto the ground. All in all, the opening could have gone a lot worse for, I'd say, for both players, but, you know, everything has stabilized and we're headed into the mid-game pretty comfortably.
Yeah, I would say though that it was a little bit close in the end with that fight with the Ling versus Marine, but I think it is pretty good for Solar in the end because he did kill off those Marines, so he kind of resetted the Marine count, and at the same time he was again just droning like a madman, and you know, as you can see in the income graph, a huge red spike here for our red Zerg. But again, supplies are pretty still close. Both players are getting their upgrades as well. Relatively even timed as well. And, this game is going to go ahead and progress along.
Yeah, this is sort of the classic position of this matchup. You have the Zerg with the one base lead as well as the worker lead. You have the Terran with the slightly quicker upgrades, setting up for a powerful timing push. This has all of the hallmarks of a classic Zerg versus Terran.
Oh yeah, we should definitely be in for a good one here. And, looks like we're going to have a little bit of a skirmish here out in the middle. This time around, though, not doing quite as well as his job in clearing out the creep as he was on the Blackburn game. He's definitely want to make sure to keep on it though, because I mean the creep is about halfway through into the map. It's spreading like a little bit of a wildfire here, so gotta make sure to keep it in check.
And this is again another reason why Hellions are so favored in this matchup, right? In the early game, Hellions are more mobile, they're better suited to deal with early groups of lings, that kind of thing. And they're so good at cleaning up creep, whereas these double drops, they're good at cleaning up things like not marines, I'm sorry, they're made of marines. They're good at cleaning up lings and banes, and I just want to highlight that Cure had some excellent target fire on some of those banelings earlier, but yeah, it looks like he will be starting to clear up some creep in the form of a single creep tumor. But look at that, Solar, his creep spread has been pretty much impeccable this game. He is almost at the third base of Cure, so this is getting a little bit out of hand.
Yeah, for sure, and this is a big map too, so spreading the creep is not an easy task, but Solar has managed to spread it fairly well. And but here we go, another drop here onto the left side. Will he get the hat-trick kill? Nope, doesn't quite target it down. In the meantime though, a group of Marines gonna go clear up some creep tumors, drop into the natural here while the Banshee is harassing the main base. So a lot of action, a lot of harassment going on for Kira, trying to keep Solar busy, but I feel like he's not quite finding the damage that he wants.
Yeah, now his one saving grace is that he is finding some damage over here on the north side as well, targeting down the fourth base location, and of course cleaning up a bunch of lings as they do stream on in. He also does have the supply lead, a pretty heavy supply lead in fact. Now, of course, a lot of that supply is in the form of production facility units that have not popped just yet, and look at that, we have 15 Marines on the production tab building at a single moment. On the other hand, we do see the Lurker follow-up for Solar, and it does seem like Cure was not able to do that much on Solar's side of the map, but looking at it now, it seems like, yeah, he did clean up enough creep. He is going to take the high ground, and he has basically all the Marines. He is not going to die anytime soon. Now, these Lings and Banes are a little bit, they're going to test the waters a little bit. They're kind of nervous about moving off creep. Solar does not have a good history with that, as we saw in game number 1. There is a pretty decent Ling run by, however. It is going to be cleaned up by the Marines and tanks. But yeah, now the fourth base is under fire, and this massive Lingbane Hydra army is going to bide its time. We're going to wait for Solar to finally engage the Marines.
Alright, has Solar bought himself enough time here? The Vipers are about to pop out, but it looks like Solar is going to go ahead and try to commit in. I'm not sure if that was the right call, but still needs to buy himself some bit more time. 38 lings on the production here, but another drop onto the left side. Cure just keeping Solar really busy, kind of keeping up the pressure against him.
Yeah, we of course have the main army targeting down the third base location. We have yet another drop to the south targeting the sixth base. Obviously the fourth base was already taken care of. Cure is in a very comfortable position now, right? He's got his upgrades going. He's got the siege tank line all set up. Solar is kind of on the ropes, he's kind of on the back foot. And you can tell that he is not really ready to engage this. He is going to pull the trigger, but are these Banelings going to be enough? We do see a Blinding Cloud going down on one of the tanks. Lings and Banes are going to stream on forward. Another Blinding Cloud and yet another Yoink on the tank. So pretty good micro from Solar. But, at this point, he does not have enough to just outright clean up the Terran army. He only has enough to trade out, which, is not bad, but it is definitely not the best case scenario for the Zerg.
Yeah, he was trying to tech up into Lurker, but Cure hit him at a time where he wasn't able to get the Lurker, so now he's just trying to hang on. If he can hang on and start getting that Lurker tech, that could really change the game, especially with the combination of those Vipers. You can do the 1-2 combo and maybe some Blinding Cloud or some Yoinks into the Lurkers. So here we go. Lurkers, 7 Lurkers being morphed in. And I think Solar should be able to stabilize, or at least somewhat stabilize. But in the meantime, a huge Ling run by there. Actually, I wouldn't say huge, but doesn't really get too much, but does keep the reinforcements back at home.
Alright, looks like the Lurkers are out. Vipers are going to push on forward a little bit aggressively. Marines just barely not able to take out one of them. Queen's already in position to heal up that Viper as well. Excellent, excellent spellcaster control from Solar.
Oh man, Solar.
Yeah, another Ling run by, so it is going to be a very nice Ling follow-up for Solar, taking down a bunch more SCVs, but more importantly, preventing mining at that third base location.
Yeah, and slowly but surely, it feels like Solar is just like turning or swinging the tides around. As I say that though, it looks like this hatchery does get taken out. The other hatchery might get taken out as well, as a group of Marines are going to go ahead and ninja it. But looks like the Wings will be there in the right position. Should be able to take this out. But Cure does take out that the base, the triangular base there down below.
Man, what a game. We interestingly enough, because of the nature of Lurkers acting sort of as the Zerg version of the Siege Tank, it's a little bit of a stalemate, right? Both players being very, very patient with how they engage. Obviously, there's so much on the line. They could lose their armies pretty much in an instant, and neither player is willing to, you know, go for anything other than trades. We do see a small regiment of Lings, Banes, and Hydras engaging the drop to the south. Again, these are just more and more trades. The Liberators are going to siege up closer and closer, forcing the Lurkers further and further back. And Vipers are going to start yoinking on those Liberators, taking down one of them. And there we go, a second. Is a third one going to go down as well? Yes. Okay, so as you said earlier, Snoopy, it feels like even though Cure is making progress into the bases of Solar, it just seems like the longer the game goes on, the more and more Solar stabilizes, right? His opponent, the Blue Terran, has not taken a new base in a long time. And Solar, on the other hand, has been able to get up to pretty high tech.
Yeah, I mean, once those Lurkers were on the field, I mean, it just really helped them stabilize a lot. But, you know, Kier does still have 3-3 upgrades versus the 2-1, or I guess like the 2-2-1 of Solar. So he's doing healthy on the upgrade count. But here we go. Solar is going to dive right in with his bunch of Banelings, a bunch of Hydralisks. Does clear out the majority here, but huge drop into the main base.
Oh man. The Vipers are going to be forced to put down their Blinding Clouds. These Marines, when they're split up like that, they actually deal with Lurkers pretty well. 11 drones have fallen. More importantly, a bunch of Lurkers have also fallen. The Hydras to the south are going to keep on pushing forward. This is a pretty decent tank line, however. The first one will get cleaned up, but not without taking a bunch of Hydras with it. And Cure, weathering the Zerg storm, is going to take this game. Man, that last game was a doozy. I mean, we saw Cure with the slow push. Solar with what seemed like a pretty good comeback, but just not quite enough in those last few engagements. Like you said, pound for pound, maybe the Zerg army would be enough to deal with all of that bio, but Cure able to take advantage of Bio's mobility, dropping into the main base with that crazy spread of Marines. You know, a couple of Blinding Clouds were definitely not enough to cover it, as well as the excellent hold over at his third base orbital, just not really bending to the Zerg's will and taking that game.
Yeah, you know, it's I feel like it could definitely have gone either way if a few things could have gone differently for either players. But all in all, well played there by both players, and you know, we would be kind of treated with if we are so lucky, we can be treated for another, you know, similar game in this game number 4. Of course, this is going to be on Hardwired though, so a little bit of a different map. But looks like Solar actually not going for the triangular base, going to go for the one at the 6 o'clock. Do you like this decision here by Solar, going for that base? Yeah, so I'm a little bit biased. I am a Zerg main, and I love taking the straight third. I hate taking the triangle third for a variety of reasons, and I think that this map is going to exemplify it. You know, we do see that the triangle base is on the low ground. It's got some pretty nasty angles, pretty much from
2 out of 3 angles you're coming in from the high ground into it, right? So you're going to be at a disadvantage in certain fights. Whereas at the straightaway third, you can only come in from 2 angles really. In both, in both scenarios, you have the high ground. And I don't know. I feel a lot more comfortable with it when it comes to drops as well. Lings are going to be able to traverse in between the third and the natural a lot easier. And of course, there is no way for the third base location to get straight into the main without flying over the natural. So personally, I prefer it, but again, I'm a little bit biased. So
you know what? You make some great points. I definitely agree with you. This makes dropping definitely much harder. Now the thing though is that Solar has to make sure that he has vision onto that right side, because we do see, sometimes whether it's a Hellion run by or maybe a Marine drop, you don't want to get surprised and your third base get taken out, or a bunch of your drones at the third base get taken out. So map vision is going to be a key thing, especially on the map like this where there is not going to be a watchtower to give you that free vision. So maybe some spotterlings or some overlord placements would be very helpful. But those poor drones.
Okay, so both players getting a little bit trigger happy. Brawler trying to rally back the drones a little bit too early, costing him a few drones. And then, of course, Cure with the recognition that, hey, maybe I could get some drones in that way, but costing him a Reaper and a Hellion. A little bit of an early game skirmish. Not unusual, but also, you don't really see players of this caliber losing their Reaper that early on. Of course, it's not like the biggest of deals, but it's just interesting to note. Now, as you mentioned earlier, Snoopy, map vision on the right side is going to be essential. These queens are luckily going to be able to see that these 5 Hellions are coming across, only thanks to that one Ling that was sent out that way. So they will begin spreading creep in that direction, and who knows, maybe if Cure recognizes that he could have a very strong angle to push from the right side, he could start focusing on the creep spread in that location. As we did see in game number 1, he did focus on denying creep spread in a critical area of the map. So who knows, maybe he'll go for the same thing this game instead of, trying to just deny all creep spread. But look at this, he's going to go straight into the natural.
Oh yeah, why even focus on the creep when you can just focus on drones, right? He's gonna go ahead and take. Oh, actually, you know what? Doesn't take out as much as I thought he could have, but I think he was too focused on defending here at the main or at the natural of his own. As 14 SCVs going down, which that is pretty surprising. I mean,
I am baffled, Snoopy. I thought that Evo placement was horrible for the Zerg because it allowed all those Hellions to just group up inside and only allow like 2 Lings to hit a Hellion at a time. But the Queens were enough to clean it up, and at the same time, those Lings getting an entire mineral line's worth. I mean, Solar must be so happy right now. He just got himself a huge economic lead.
Yeah, and that is going to be really important considering that he is down 1-2 in this series. So this game, he really has to get it in order to force a game number 5 and keeps his series hopes alive. And this is a great start. I mean, he's now up 15 workers. He's got the creep spread going again. He's got his 4th base established or starting to get his 4th base established as well. Got his upgrades about finishing as well. The 1-1 with the central. What was that upgrade? I didn't see there. I think it was Overlord speed. I think. He's in a great position. It looks like Cure though, he's gonna try and pull himself back into this game by going for this attack here. But he might want to wait for a combat shield, or maybe even want to wait for the 1-1 to finish as well.
Yeah, oh man, look at that. He is moving pretty deep on creep. He is going to start clearing out these creep tumors, going to push on forward. Going to see that these Banelings don't have speed just yet. Hellbats are going to, start taking damage on the front lines. Marines are going to try to position themselves such that they can take down a lot of those drones. 9-10 drones are falling, but in return, the entire army pretty much gets cleaned up. Now, there are reinforcements. Interestingly enough, there are a couple more Hellbats. I wonder where they came from. I wasn't really keeping track, but overall 15 drones have gone down. Will any more go down? A couple of queens are under fire, and this fourth base is once again under siege. These Marines are in an excellent spot to clean up basically all of those Lings, so now it's just going to be Baneling for queens left. Banelings, of course, are going to be more than enough to clean up what remains, but I think that 24 drones is definitely a big loss.
Yeah, this has been a horrible 2 minute of defense here by Solar, not only with the frontal attack, but also the Liberator defense at the backside that has gotten total of 23 kills. A lot of them are drone kills. And now Kira gonna go ahead and just streamline his reinforcements across the map. He's looking to take down this fourth base and go for the kill.
Oh yeah, Baneling speed is done. First wave is not going to get too many connections. Second wave is going to clean up the remainder of all of those Marines, leaving only the medevacs alone off of creep. Look at that, the Liberator, once again, 4 more kills, bringing up its total to 27. That Liberator pilot is a champion.
You know what, if Kira does manages to win this game, which it looks like he has a really good chance of, I mean, I would give the MVP medal to that Liberator, because
yeah,
that Liberator has just gotten so much kills, as well as has really delayed the mining time of those drones. Because of course, you know, when the siege up, you gotta pull the drones off, so that's like no mining there, and so it has done a lot of economic damage.
Oh yeah, definitely. Solar probably kicking himself right about now, knowing that he is not in the best of economic positions. He does have a decent army, of course, and you know, that is not bad for Zerg. You need to have a good standing army to be able to hold off all of these bio attacks. But, you know, the key to winning this game is economy, and economy is something that Solar just does not have an advantage in anymore. Of course, he will have the drone worker lead, but that is not only expected but required as the Zerg. And right now, that economic lead is a bit too slim. I think that if we pull up the income graph, yeah, we see that they're pretty dead even on income thanks to those mules, and we all know that Cure, you know, give him a good economy, give him time and space, he is going to be able to make the most of it with a bunch of drops. However, we do see a huge Ling Bane run by, ooh, getting some solid connections on the Hellbats. This caught Cure a little bit by surprise. Oh my gosh, both players just taking ridiculous amounts of economic damage in this game.
Yeah, Solar hitting at the perfect time while a bunch of Marines and Medevacs are across the map trying to drop, and he just caught Kira with his pants down. However, Kira trying to even up the trade here, but he's got 40 workers to make up for. I don't think he can, as the Lings are piling through. Gonna get the surround, and will clean this up eventually.
Oh man.
What a turnaround. Once again, this so much back and forth in this series.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Cure, the way that this game is going, Cure could still win, right? Like, however unlikely that is. I mean, I was just singing his praises and then this happened. Now I'm going to be singing Solar's praises and then he loses like 50 workers. Who knows what's going to happen? This is just crazy.
I know, right? It's like, this is basically like Cast a Curse on steroids or something. Cause
yeah, really.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, when did Kira get Blue Flame? I just want to highlight that. Like, I could have sworn that all the Hellions died, but then we kept seeing Hellbats being produced or something like that. And now these Hellions have Blue Flame. Like, I like that choice. I'm not complaining. I just find it really interesting.
Oh, can it get these failings though? Just only get a few. At least does spot it. You know, Kira might want to actually start remaking that wall, because again, these Baneling attacks are quite deadly, and you want to make sure you have as much of an impediment in terms of pathing for those Banelings. Get those extra tank shots by making the pathway, you know, more difficult to get through. Looks like Solar morphing in more Banelings. Yeah, I don't know, man. This game is just so crazy back and forth that even though, you know, Solar has a crazy supply lead, I'm like, anything is still possible.
Yeah, seriously. Look at that. The Hellions are gonna do some pretty good work on the Lings and Banes as well. Yeah, I mean, obviously, they are not going to hold a candle up to all of those Lings and Banes. Is Solar going to go for a counterattack, however? Is he going to try to move across the map and just outright kill his opponent? Looks like that could be the case. Keep in mind, this is all layer tech, right? This has been a very low-tech sort of game so far. All these Lings and Banes are just going to scream on forward. A couple of tanks are doing their best against it, but it is not going to be nearly enough. That low ground orbital command does have to be lifted. On the high ground, these Banelings are going to make some very, very solid connections. More Banelings coming in from the back. Oh man, they're going to connect on the SCVs as well. Solar from downtown, he's going to take game number 5.
We are here in game number 5 on Glittering Ashes. It's do or die for both of these players. And one of these players is in the bottom left. He's our blue Terran playing for Dragon Phoenix Gaming. He is Cure.
And his red Zerg opponent going for a hatch first, unlike in previous games. Will he be able to defend against his opponent? It is Kaizi Gaming Solar.
And oh man.
What I just want to say, for the record, I love Cure and I love everything he does.
I mean, might as well, right? Might as well. And,
hey, you are on game number 5 in a best of 5. You're on the last game. You are on match point. What do you do? Double proxy racks. Easy, right? That solves all your problems.
Easy peasy. I'm wondering if he's going to add a third racks. Will he? Okay, looks like he's not gonna. Well, so far it has yet to be scouted. Let me just double check. Yeah, it has yet to be scouted. So this is gonna catch Solar on the very last second, and here we go. What is gonna be Solar's response? Solar has historically had a weakness in defending against cheeses. Let's see if he can kind of defend this here and shut this down.
All right, drones are going to be pulled off the line. I don't think that that bunker is going to be able to finish, but in return, these Marines are going to get some excellent DPS, and 10 Lings are on the way. Oh, okay, this is getting a little bit too close for comfort. Look at that. Now the bunker is going to finish, and Solar is not going to be able to defend adequately against this for the time being. The drones are going to be sent all the way to the barracks, which is not what you really ideally want. You want them to be mining. You want them to be fighting, but you can't fight against a bunker with 4 Marines in it. Oh, man.
Oh, my goodness. You know, I feel like Solar, if he just did a little bit things a little bit differently, he could have shut down. Like, I don't know, he just microed really badly, poorly there, and he just let this bunker get up, and oh my goodness, Cure, he does it. 2 racks for the win.
Wow. Just wow.